Rachel, thank you for ringing in. Have I been a bad boy? You're going to tell me off.
No, not really, Sean.
What do you think about the story about Vanessa?
There's two sides as far as I see. One, it's horrific. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It should never have happened. The agencies that were involved have let down Vanessa. They let down the parents. And, this affirmation model is absolutely ridiculous and stupid.
Yeah.
The other side that really goads me at the moment is exactly what you're doing on here.
Yeah.
But both sides, the trans and anti-trans sides, are using it to battle against each other. And it has nothing to do with the trans side of things. It shouldn't have. You should all be concentrating on how bad these agencies perform and how they have let down people. That is where the problem is. When you throw digs at sex-change people like myself, it is offensive.
And Rachel,
and you are offensive calling me a bloke.
If that was the effect of it, I want to apologise sincerely for that. That was not my intent. When you read it and I read your thing, I thought, okay, it could have come across like that. That wasn't my intent. And my sincere apologies to you.
Okay, I accept that, thank you. And that's why I rang in.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't ring in much because I get tired of you attacking like you do. And trans is totally different than sex change.
Yeah, and look, I was thinking about this literally for some reason because I knew this interview was coming up today. I said, I think I've probably got confused and got it wrong again. So can you just run us through it? Because it is confusing.
Sex change people like myself, it's a complicated thing, okay?
Yeah.
But it's not easy. And, when I see people say that you can't be born in the wrong body, that's bullshit. And I know it. I've experienced it. I know what I went through. I went through a hell of a lot more than I can explain to you sitting here on the program.
But Rachel, look, can you also accept, and I will accept, and what do I call? I call you he, she. I use your, preferred pronouns when we talk about you because
I don't give a stuff about preferred pronouns, Sean.
Okay. But I'm also telling you, as much as I accept that, you have to accept my scientific belief that you're still not a woman in a biological sense.
Your scientific belief that I'm not a woman, okay?
You can't be, Rachel.
You don't know what my biological sex is at all. When have you had me tested?
Okay, Rachel, are you saying you are? Are you saying that you've got, the gametes of a woman?
No, I'm not saying I'm a biological sex. I'm not saying, I don't know my biological sex either.
Yes, you do.
But I know what my sex is. No, I don't.
Haven't you had a test?
Okay.
Have you had all this stuff without having it tested?
No.
See, Rachel, this is where we run into problems. Because you were born a bloke, right?
My sex was deemed male at birth. I'm telling you, and everyone else, far more than you have a right to know.
Well, no. You rang up to engage. I didn't hunt you down on this, Rachel.
Doing that. Well, let me do it. Okay? My sex on my birth certificate when I was born at birth showed male.
Yeah.
Okay? Since then, and that was judged solely on what was between my legs. That was all. There was no biological scientific testing done at all. Okay? You guys have all switched it in the last 5 years to where it's about biological sex. It was never about biological sex. Okay? It was about my sex.
Well, sex is biological sex. It's a biological term, Rachel.
Sorry?
It's a biological term. Sex is a biological scientific definition.
Biological sex is, yes, I agree with you. But sex is not. Sex was a general term that was used
biological. Well, now people use gender, okay?
No, gender, don't go get... That's the problem. People are confusing gender and sex.
Well, sex is biology, mate. Sex is the science. That's how I see it.
Biological sex is, yes. But people get lax with wording. That's how trans became so big, because they twisted the meanings of words.
Yeah.
Okay? And they did twist the definitions. I don't deny that.
Yeah.
Okay? But now it's going the other way, that the anti-trans side of it is twisting meanings too. It is not about biological sex. 15 years ago, nobody used the term biological sex except scientists.
All right.
Okay, but
Yeah.
the point is that what I'm trying to get here is that trans is different. Trans are people who, what used to be cross-dressers, genderqueer, transvestites. It's a whole lot of different things. They are totally different people than people like Catherine and I.
Yeah.
Okay, that is not a case. Okay, but we are the ones being attacked. Fern referred to sex change earlier on too. Why we're not the enemy? We actually agree that what happened to Vanessa was
I get you on
shocking.
that, Rachel. Yeah,
But we're getting, we are getting dumped into it and labelled with all these other people. Look, if somebody has got a penis and they want to dress in a dress, then they're a bloke, and I agree with you entirely on that.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you've gone and done what we have done,
you had your penis chopped off. There's still a bloke, Rachel.
No, Sean, I've got a vagina. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but the DNA. Come on.
I've gone to hospitals. I've had surgery. I've gone through the legal process where I stood in front of a judge.
Yes, but at the end of the day, you are not a. Can you have children?
No, I can't have children.
Okay.
But neither can. There are many women who can't have children.
Yeah,
either.
no, don't. Come on, don't split hairs with me.
No, they can't have them too.
Don't split hairs with me, Rachel.
No, you're splitting them.
Well,
Worst thing is I'm looking at you on the bloody camera.
What I'm looking at you and saying is, Rachel, you're a listener, you're a caller, you're a New Zealander, and you're not an asshole, and that's all I need to know.
No, and I know that. I'd love to meet you one day.
You're not going into schools, and you're not part of an organised group of people who have inserted themselves into our education system, have convinced vulnerable autistic people that they've got gender dysphoria and are causing the sort of pain that Vanessa suffered. And you're not one of those people.
Cut us out of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
No one under 20 should be getting blockers.
Yeah.
Okay? And no one under 20 should be having surgeries to remove sex organs or anything like that. There's nobody with a penis that should be stuck in a female's prison. And, somebody like myself shouldn't be playing sports against natal women. I've wrestled people that are natal females that are 20 years younger than me, arm wrestle.
Yeah.
I can beat them a piece of cake.
Yeah.
I've always going to have male characteristics. And I recognise that. And I'm not the enemy.
Yeah. I hear you.
Anyway, I do thank you for your time, Sean, but I'm not going to hang up on you either.
Okay. Hey, lovely talking. Thank you for engaging, Rachel. Always
when you're in Auckland sometime, have a coffee with me.
All right.
Okay?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Not an arm wrestle, though. You'll kick my ass.